welcome to Great Expectations. I'm your host, Great, and we have a special guest, Lucky.
What's going on, everybody?
We're on the road today, so sorry about the squalor. Today we have a 25-book unboxing. If you watched my last video, you saw we had the little box, didn't know what was going on with that one. That's 2 of these 25 books. So Lucky's got 13, I have 12. Let's see what we got.
Did you already showed everybody the small box?
Here, you can show while I'm opening this.
Don't destroy it.
This is a death trap.
Okay, so this one was yours. Image 30th anniversary. You got a 9.8. Seems pretty solid.
First appearance of World Tree.
See over there. This one was mine, which was, I bought this on a lark because the cover was sick. So 9.8 Spider-Man. It is Shadow number 1. 9.8.
Spider Shadow.
There you go. Spider's Shadow. But I got it because the cover was dope. So somebody talked me into it, and there you go.
Now, Spec Collector really liked that book, Spider Shadow number 1. And it has, I forget what the first appearance is, but it definitely has possibly some legs. And then you've got to, store bear it. Alright, let's go with this first one. Alright. Hey, I forgot, I knew I was going to forget something. Okay, first book we have is X-Men number 101. So, first appearance of the Phoenix. I bought this in a CBCS case. And I'm like, this book desperately needs a press and a clean. And I want to say it was like a 3.5 or 4. And I'm like, if I press and clean this, I might be able to get a decent grade. And it came back a 6 off white to white pages. What do you think? First appearance of
That's pretty sick.
Jean Grey as the Phoenix.
Yeah, that's iconic for sure, right?
I didn't really understand much about this book and why it was so expensive when I first started collecting again. And I just, over time, just the cover is epic, and it's something you want to look at, and it's a must for any X-Men collector. So the price is just, I think, reflective of the demand. It's a newsstand. Not that it matters that much.
Sweet. Nice book.
Thank you. Alright, what do we got next? Oh, we're doing mine first. Cool. Alright, so we have Giant Size Fantastic Four number 4.
What year is that one?
1975. So this is the first appearance of Multiple Man J.B. Madrox. And this is a square-bound book. It is actually really hard to get in even all the square-bound books in this time are just chewed up. And so I bought 3 copies of this book, over the last year, and 2 were in terrible condition, and this one I thought had a chance to be okay. And if you're looking for this book, trying to find it in an 8.0 or higher is actually quite hard. So,
do you know what the pop count of an 8.0 for that book is?
It's low. There might be, I don't know, maybe there might be 200 in a better grade than this. And it's just, a book you don't see that often, and then they're all chewed up, so no one got them graded.
Yeah.
So 7.5, I'm pretty happy with that. Off-white to white pages is as good as we can expect. Do I think it's a great book? Man, I don't like the cover. It took me, buying a couple to actually realize that it's Jamie Madrox all over here. They're not just random goons. It's the Multiple Man himself. I think he's a cool character, and he's underutilized. Who can make copies of himself? This guy. Happy with both those grades, though, because, if you know me, I don't do a lot of older moderns. And, hard to find, hard to buy in high grade, and so normally I'm ultra modern. Alright, next we have Wolverine Limited Series number 1. Came back at 9.6 white pages. Great grade, great book. I had a copy of this, and it was like the first time I sent one in, I thought it was in good condition. I expected a 9.8, and it came back like an 8.5, and it just like really got me. I got a bad grader, or I got a tough grader. Nobody's a bad grader.
It's fair.
Yeah, they're not born bad.
They're not born
Anyway,
bad. They come bad over time.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So anyway, I've been buying this book where I see it. There are a lot of copies. And I actually like the cover on all 4 of them. So the limited series is 4 books. They're all pretty cool. Wolverine keys to me, and at this point, iconic.
That's definitely an iconic book for sure.
But getting a 9.6, like I wouldn't have paid a lot of money for this book. I might have paid like $50 for it. So that's a big win.
Nice.
And I'm not going to sell this one. 9.6 in a like an older modern is good enough for me to keep on my wall.
How's your wall doing, by the way?
It's great. I rotate.
Yeah.
So I keep the books up for maybe a month and a half, and then rotate another. I think it's 44 I put up.
Cool. Do you go in there with a coffee in the morning and just sit and look at your wall of books? And
I do periodically.
nice.
And
like Picasso's.
my Ghost Rider 15 that I opened last week is glow in the dark, and it still glows, and it is spooky as hell. I actually really like it. It is awesome. I mean,
Ghost Rider 15, 1.5?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's not. It's volume 2, so it's a 90s book,
Okay.
overproduced.
Yeah.
I did not think it would still glow. I didn't think it would be that cool. I
Okay.
love it.
That's sick. It's great when you find something, when you rediscover something, like you have it, or you don't appreciate it for what it is right away, and then for some reason you find it later, or you grade it and just and you get to look at it more often, and you just like actually like it ups your level of appreciation for whatever you've got. I love that part of collecting.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at what other books come in glow in the dark, and then see if there are any epic enough to like. I don't know.
For sure.
I don't know why aren't they all glow in the dark.
I know. There was one for DC versus Vampires. It was number 2 that they did glow in the dark.
Just like the teeth.
No, I mean, so it comes in, the book actually comes in, it's covered in white, in a white cover. You have to actually open that cover to get to the actual glow-in-the-dark cover. I don't know why, maybe it's protecting it from
light.
From all those kind of things while it's sitting on a shelf or
Vampires don't like light.
100%, right? So, but there shouldn't be a black cover. Anyway, next book.
All right, next one. All right, another good one. So, New Mutants 98 came back at 9.6 white pages. So again, I always hope for 9.8s. I never expect them with 90s books. And so to me, 9.6 is about as good as you're going to get. These were pressed by Mr. Kendra, and he has done a great job again. So I bought this one raw on eBay. I want to say I paid, maybe about $250 US, and then grading it. So say we're at 300 tops. And this book is definitely, like a $600 book. So awesome. First appearance of Merc with Mouth, Deadpool, and I don't like the idea of investing in 9.8s of these 90s modern books. I just think there's so many of them that, I don't care if there's a 9.8 because there might be thousands. So I'm kind of coming around to just having 9.6s to show and to see, and I'm much happier paying that price because there's just too many of them.
The price point, for sure.
What's the difference between a 9.8 and a 9.6?
About 0.2.
Yeah, but like in ultra moderns from 2015, from 2015, to me it's got to be a 9.8 or bust.
Right.
But for these ones, 9.6 will do. Very happy with that grade. My comics all came first.
Is that it for you? The rest of the box?
No, I got a few more.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Alright, next we've got Young Avengers #1. This book was very hot. First appearance of like Iron Lad and just the other Young Avengers, and it had some hype. I bought this one on eBay. The book has gone down dramatically. So this was definitely one of the like COVID hype books, and coming back into 9.4 is rough. So I don't think I'll make any money on this book. I also don't think it's a huge like monster spec. So every time I've gotten this book back graded, I've sold it right away. And the last 9.8 I had, I sold for I think $750 or $800 US, which was awesome.
So at a 9.4, will you crack that?
No. Oh, wow.
Is it worth, like, for example, is it worth more to sell raw than it is in a 9.4?
Yeah, so we're kind of like at that point where someone else might hope that it's a 9.8 and they're paying right around the same price.
Right.
So I don't know what I'll do with it. I will not keep it. I'll either sell it. I'll most likely try and sell it slabbed, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So they're not all home runs, right? Like you can look at the book and check out the spine and everything else, and then they just find something. So I don't know.
That's fair.
Like it does have a spine tick. So it has a spine tick. What are you gonna do? All right, next we have first one of Lucky's.
Nice. This one I got. Thank you. This one I got because of Grade here. He got me back into comics. He was mentioning, and he said he got like 3 or 4 or 12 or 400 of copies of these. And while I was out working, I went to a local comic shop, and they had one raw. So because of Grade, I just bought one, and then had it graded. So I'm happy to get a 9.8 because, you know, it's super ultra modern, obviously brand new. So I'd rather have the 9.8 than anything else. And if anything happens with it, great.
Yeah. So this one's Jeff Johns. It's a good story. There was buzz on this book, and you know, it could become a Netflix series or something like that, Last of Us style. Who knows?
Sweet.
It's still early, right? Like it's a newer modern, so you got to give it time. Yeah. Where are you gonna put all those books?
Where am I gonna? I bought myself a graded comic
Bin?
Yeah, so we'll store them in there, and then into the basement they go.
Yeah, I'm up to 4, but I keep all the CGC boxes, so I have another bunch of boxes.
Nice.
All right. Next, we have Ultimate Fallout number 2. This is the 1 in 25 Djurdjevic variant. If you watch my unboxings, I've slowly been accumulating a set of 9.6s. So I think I submitted 2 of this book, hoping one came back a 9.6. So if the other one's a 9.8, I'll be selling the 9.8. I wanted 9.6s across the board. Now it's kind of sad. I finally get this one, and I put my Ultimate Fallout 4 Djurdjevic in 9.6 up for auction with Comic Link, but it's still nice to have the rest of them. And the 1 to 6 looks pretty good on the wall.
Are you gonna put the link at the bottom of this for your auctions?
No, I don't do links.
Okay.
It's a lot of work. All right, let's see what's next.
There you go.
As if I'm clairvoyant. So, Ultimate Fallout 4 again, the Djurdjevic. This is a very hard book to find, and it's definitely hard to find in 9.8. So there might only be, say, 25 or 30 9.8s of this book. And I think it's cool. I think over time people will be looking for all the 1 in 25s just because they look neat. And then the 4 is very famous because it's the first appearance of Miles Morales. So this one came back in a 9.8. Again, I will put it up for sale. And
Do you read any of these books when you get, like, are you a comic reader? Do you follow stories and all that kind of stuff?
I follow the stories. I like summaries better. So who do I watch? I don't know. There are some channels that will kind of summarize a storyline after the fact, and I watch those. As far as reading, I've heard it's fine. Yeah, the other thing with this, these do come up raw once in a while, and a lot of them are in good condition. So if you did want a graded copy of this is the kind of book where you can buy, you can still find a 9.6, 9.8 in raw, and then get it graded yourself, and have a good return. Because buying these in 9.8 or even 9.6 can be pretty pricey. I have I'm waiting for a Miss Marvel book in here, and I've had really good grades coming back, so I'm hopeful, but it's got a little color rub, and now I'm just antsy about it. Alright, next we have Ultimate Fallout 3. Came back in 9.6 with white pages. So again, the Djurdjevic 1 in 25 variant. This has a, some people call it a cameo for Miles Morales. The last page is basically like the cover A of Ultimate Fallout 4. And so it does have Miles Morales in there mostly. I've shown it on the channel before, but it makes it a little bit desirable. I already have a 9.6 that I bought. I bought at auction, and so this one I'll probably sell.
How do you feel about Spider-Boy, since we're talking about all the new
I got my copies, so I order a thing from another world, and then I have them shipped, every 2 weeks. So I feel like I'm 2 weeks behind on all the big release day comics.
Okay.
So it's a cool design, I guess.
You think it's got legs?
8 of them.
There we go. We got there.
Yeah. To me, I think there are just so many Spider characters that they can't all be worth like $400 in 9.8, right? Like it's just there's just so many.
Yeah. But there's a lot of hype about that Spider-Boy.
Yeah, well, it's different, and we'll see how it shakes out. I just, for me, the books that I want to spec on are not generally hyped right away. They kind of go under the radar, and you don't want everyone to get their comics, not read them, and grade them in mint condition, and then you've got 1,000 9.8s or 2,000 9.8s.
Yeah.
So, I've looked through mine, and I'm going to sell, I think, 3 out of the 5 copies of the spoiler variant.
Cool.
Just to pay for everything, and whatever. If it's a thing, I got a couple.
Yeah.
And they're 9.8 candidates, and then the rest, someone else can have them and hope. All right, next. Oh yeah. So this was the big book in the box, and I'm happy. I'm a little surprised. So this is Captain Marvel 17, which is the second cameo appearance of Miss Marvel. And I don't know if I've ever shown it, but the cameo in Captain Marvel 14 is literally I think it's just a girl running in an alleyway, and then this one I feel like it's just Kamala Khan with 2 of her friends in class, or not in class, in school, and they're in the cafeteria. Now this one they might call her Kamala, but it is the barest of cameos. But the deal with this one is it's a second print, and on the cover they put Kamala Khan, and it's kind of like an iconic cover, at least for Miss Marvel. It's rare, and I've only seen one of these in the wild, so I bought this one raw off a guy off Facebook Marketplace, and I think I paid $4.50 US for it.
Okay.
Now this book, during the height of the pandemic, was $5,000 or more for a 9.8. So it has come down significantly, but this still might be $1,800, $1,600 US.
Beautiful.
Which is great. So it had a tiny little bit of color rub here, and when you press a book, and if the presser's good and they're doing their thing, they should recognize that, and you can kind of put it under the lamps a little bit, under the press a little bit longer, and it'll bleed the color I know there's a tiny, tiny bit of color rub there, but it's not as bad as it was when I bought the book. And so this is a big win.
Thanks to your presser.
Yeah, well, honestly, Gary Kendra is the best. Impressive pressing. I am confident in that now. I've used him a bunch, and I've never been disappointed. And his service is fantastic, because I've had books damaged, and he, like, right away paid me out insurance and helped me fix everything and went and double pressed everything. He's just
above and beyond.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like customer service for stuff like that. You know, you pay for it, and it's worth it every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this book does have an homage cover for Taskmaster 3, second print, and I had the homage cover in 9/8 with Taiguchi on the cover. I hated it. I found it really ugly, and maybe it was just the way they drew him, but it was disproportionate. So I'm going to put this on the wall for a while. I feel like Miss Marvel books are undervalued right now, even though she's had her TV series, which wasn't perfect, but she's in the movies now, and I think the actress is great, and I think there's a lot of room to grow with this. I've actually bought 3 9/8 of her first full appearance with All New Marvel .1 now. So I have 3 9/8, and I think there's only, say, 250 on the census. And so it's a real low census book. There's actually probably just as many 9/8 of this book, even though it is a second print, hard to find book.
The second season, when they come back, should be better. Yeah, because in the first season, everybody's kind of usually finding their legs, especially with a new character and what they're going to do. And so there's now there's more development, and you know where to go. And there's obviously all this time, especially when you come to all the Marvel movies and all that kind of stuff. And another way to fit her in, or other characters to bring in, Nighthawk.
Nighthawk.
Was it Nighthawk? No.
Nighthawk's not coming into anything.
No, I know, but they did his show, and then they brought on a new character, right? His subordinate, or his protege.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff, right? When you develop as you go.
Yeah, and in the TV series, she only has one of the quantum bands, or the whatever kind of quasar bands, or negative bands. And then in the trailer for the new movie, the Captain Marvel movie, they have the second band in it. So my hope is that by the end of that movie, she gets both bands, and then her powers are embiggening instead of
look it up.
That's what it's called. When she gets bigger, she's embiggening.
Yeah.
And hopefully we don't have the Green Lantern kind of green hand thing moving forward. She just needs to be able to get bigger. But huge win. This is why I really wanted to open this box, because I was hopeful that this book would come back. Even a 9/6 I would have been super happy with, but a 9/8, awesome. We got a very favorable grader.
Beautiful.
Next, we have Star Wars, The Mandalorian #1.
Was this one of... So did you send in any of these? These are all for me? Okay.
Yeah, I purposely didn't send any Mandalorian ones just so we don't get mixed up.
I mean, this is kind of pretty self-explanatory. Mandalorian #1. I remember when... I'm not that old, but I am. I remember when toys came like this, exactly like this. I saw this cover and I was like, oh, that's a purchase. So, #1, TV series, obviously super popular. Mandalorian, Star Wars. I didn't think you can go wrong.
John Tyler Christopher has a bunch of these covers as well. So you could literally have a wall of them with all the action figures. Now, yes, most of them aren't first appearances, so this is his first appearance, and he's in the original packaging, so that's pretty cool. It came back in 9/8, right?
It did come back in 9/8.
Yeah, that's cute.
I'd be very surprised if most of the modern comics, or any of the comics that I sent in, because most of them I purchased within the last year, don't come back in 9/8. You know what I mean? They're just...
Mr. Kendra is doing God's work on your 9/8s because you're not checking them enough.
Sure.
Okay. Next we have Edge of Spider-Verse #2. This is not the facsimile, this is the original. Came back in 9.4 with white pages. I was hoping for a 9.6 or 9.8 on this book. First appearance of Spider-Gwen. she's back in Edge of Spider-Verse 2 or Into the Spider-Verse this month. And so hopefully there's a little hype on this book. I'm still looking for a 9.8. I had a 9.8 and then I sold it during the pandemic. I just was trying to buy other books. And so it's nice to have one back. And I got this one, I think, on eBay. The guy said it was mint, which is an odd term to see on eBay, and maybe I should be a little more careful when someone says mint, because most people that say mint have no idea what the actual grade is.
Right.
And when I got it, I knew it was unlikely to be 9.8, and I was just hoping for the best.
On eBay, there's a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to cards. People will say that they'll give a range, or they won't say anything. They'll just say used, so that they can sell the card in any kind of condition, so that they're not,
I will not put what the grade is
Right.
if I don't think it's like a 9.6 or a 9.8 candidate.
Right.
And then, I put enough pictures, you can look for yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I've had somebody actually return or attempt to return a book where I didn't put the grade and I put, 10 pictures. So, it is what it is. Like, you can't stop it. I hate eBay returns. All right, next. Another one.
Djurdjevic.
This is your book.
Same thing, same reasons. Mandalorian. So now, for example, if this is a thing, I keep one, I sell one. Yay for me.
Yeah, well, The Mandalorian is definitely a thing. We just have to see a year or two from now how many graded 9.8s there are of each cover.
So do you think, this is just a regular newsstand copy, like it's not a variant or a ratio or anything like that? Sorry, it is a variant, but it's not a ratio. So do you think that these are going to have any value, or is it just like 10 trillion of them printed, you know what I mean?
I think there are just a ton of Star Wars fans, so are there a jillion of them? Not of that cover. I know there were a lot of store exclusives for Mandalorian #1, so that's why I'm a little hesitant. Just when there's too much of the first, it was known it was going to be the first appearance,
right.
So there are a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
And I would assume a lot of 9.8s, but there are a lot of Mandalorian fans. Like my wife is a Mandalorian fan.
Yeah, it's got Baby Yoda.
Yeah, so if she can like it, then there's a wide appeal for the Mandalorian, and we're less than a year in on the first appearance. In 10 years, we'll see how many there are and what the desirability is, and we're kind of in that speculation age where we don't know how many people are holding back and going to get graded and keeping in mint condition. So, it could be like 90s books where there are a ton of them.
Yeah. But
just over time, things happen and they disappear or they get damaged or whatever, so we don't know. Next, we have The Mandalorian #1. This is the Aja variant cover. What do you think this is? The 1 in 25, most likely?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, great cover. Definitely a book you want to come back in 9.8. I think this could be an iconic cover over time, but again, there's going to be a lot of them because there were a lot of store variants. I definitely have a raw copy of this. I don't think mine's a 9.8 candidate, so.
No, there we go. Same thing, Mandalorian, and I'm a bit of a variant. I'll buy different copies of the same book or the same card or whatever it happens to be because they come in, so I have like a collection in sports cards. When you get the same card, there's a lot of different colors, like a purple and a gold and they're out of whatever they're out of. So collecting them all is kind of called the rainbow. So it's the same idea for comics. I like to have all the different kind of covers for the one book. I definitely have gone overboard on one of the comics that I'm collecting, which I think that there's one or two in there, possibly. I can't remember exactly. But
yeah, they spelled Berserker wrong too.
Oh, perfect. That's great.
All right, let's see what's next. These should mostly be Lucky's books. Lots of 9.8s for Lucky. So we have The Mandalorian #1. This is the 1 in 10 concept art variant. And experience of The Mandalorian. So many 9/8s.
So many 9/8s.
I'm always wary with sending books in with no pre-screen. Like I've been I've been spoiled by pre-screens, and so I never want to get like a 9/4, 9/6 in a modern book. So,
agreed.
But we sent them, and they're getting graded well. So this is the Mandalorian #1, the photo variant, part of your rainbow.
That's correct. Been another 9/8, so that's great.
I always check to see if they're white pages. I've never had like an ultra modern that wasn't white pages. So
yeah, I'd be shocked, right? Because the only thing that, unless it's printed off, they should all be white pages, right? Because the only thing that would do that over is time, where they turn yellow.
Like discoloring.
Yeah,
I've never seen paper that was like pre-discolored, but you never know.
right.
All right, first DC book. We have Justice League #75. White pages. This is the Harris variant cover. Death of the Justice League.
Spec, Death of the Justice League, like Death of Superman. You know, I saw Death of. I did the same thing with Death of Doctor Strange. I don't know that that's going to be a thing, but I collected the 4 or 5 books or whatever it was. Whenever I see a death of a character, especially because of the Death of Superman, it just something to stick some cash into and see if it works. Not super happy about the 9/6. I thank the presser. I'm sure it was in worse condition, obviously. So appreciate that. But
Seems like a harsh... right there.
there it is.
Yeah, there's like a little tiny mini corner bend up here. So that's why I got a 9/6. I remember I was a teenager when they killed off Superman. And there was a lot of hype. They had the white bag, the black bag, and my comic store ran out of them.
Instantly, yeah.
There was just such a buzz.
Yep.
And then right after that, I think it was like either Superman's wedding or Spider-Man's wedding, and my local comic guy, he ordered like 1,000 or like thousands of this wedding book.
Yeah, I remember
expecting the same hype.
Yeah.
And he went to each one of us. I heard him over and over again. He's like, you wanted so many copies of the Death of Superman. Why don't you want these wedding books? And you just know he was sitting on 1 million of them. So
weddings, not so much for young men. Death is definitely a thing.
I think if Superman and Batman got married, I'd buy a copy.
I like the cover. Superman... I don't know,
I didn't even see Wonder Woman in there. Wonder Woman's on the cover too. Who knew? 9/6. Ah!
Yeah, hurts the soul.
All right, next. Death of Justice League. So this again is Justice League #75, the DeMio variant cover. Is this like a ratio variant or?
I don't know actually. To be quite honest with you, I can't remember. I bought it so long ago, and then it's been sitting at your place, and then off to the graders, and blah blah blah. So I'm just happy it came back a 9/8, and again, just the same idea, death of, so, and the rainbow kind of thing.
It's funny they put in the notes death of the Justice League. All the moderns I send in, they don't put anything for like what the actual importance of the book is. So maybe DC's just got the inside track on telling CGC what is going on.
One of these is a variant, though, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Or a ratio, sorry.
You're running out of space?
Nope, we're good.
All right. Next, we have Death of Justice League. So Justice League #75. This is presumably cover A, and it came back in a 9/6, white pages.
I didn't expect that to get a 9/8. I would have liked a 9/8, but again, I can only assume it was in even worse condition. And
all black cover, like the black just shows everything.
Yeah.
So it is much harder to get black on black in 9/8. Next we have Death of Superman 30th Anniversary Special #1. This is the Matina foil variant. Came back in a 9/8 white pages.
Can't ask for its foily version. Death of Superman. I like the cover.
It says it's a 1 in 25 variant.
There we go.
I've had terrible luck on foil covers, and for me, they always come back in 9/6. I think I've had one out of all maybe 2 out of 6 or 7 foil covers come back in a 9/8. And this is an all black one too. So, pretty sweet.
Yeah, like the reflection's tough. Sorry, folks.
You can see Doomsday on there.
Yeah, and then S30 on the back. Yeah, we'll take it. Death of Superman. So, as we were just talking about, the deaths. And that was in the comic book store and probably kind of a little hyped as well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I walked right past the DC section, so.
I'll spec anything these days.
All right, next we have Batman vs. Robin #1. This is the Perillo variant cover, and it came back in a 9/6 white pages.
Brutal 9/6. Again, I always just assumed, based on the presser, that it would have been even worse. So, so you know, kudos to him for getting it out to a 9/6. And #1 spec Batman vs. Robin. Figured I'd take a shot. There's so many Batman books. There are. It's actually just mind-boggling how many there are. But you know, iconic character.
Like when I look at this book, it is definitely closer to a 9/8 than a 9/6. So. Just like it, I think it's the black covers, because like there's like the tiniest little, I don't know, I want to say bend, or it's not even a color breaking like spine tick, but black covers. All right, we're almost done. Next we have Batman vs. Robin #1, the Hitch variant. Came back in a 9/6 white pages.
Lucky's unlucky. He's not batting very well with these last couple, but again, you know, the rainbow aspect and Batman versus Robin, so #1.
Yeah. We might just need for your moderns to start sending them in 9/8 pre-screen, and then it just is or isn't.
Is it worth to pay for a pre-screen?
Yeah, the reject fee is how you pay. So if that book was a 9/6, they would reject it, and you pay $8 US. Okay. But then you got to consider you paid, you know, like say $12 plus tax for Gary to press it. So you're kind of like, the rejection fee is $20.
And how much is it to grade it?
I don't know. It's
so
$25.
And then the next question is, how much was a 9/6 versus a raw?
So you're saving 17. You're saving 17 US.
Okay.
It's like hard. Like the math is a lot harder because we're in Canada, and like the shipping is crazy. The shipping for a box is 150 US.
Yeah.
And that kills you. Yeah. And shipping to the States as well. All right, last book. We have,
on a high note, good.
Image 30th Anniversary Anthology #8. Came back in 9/8. So both of these came back in 9/8. They do have some 9/9s. It's the first appearance of World Tree, or the preview, depending on who you ask. And I just feel like it was an under-the-radar book, and so I bought a couple and got them graded. I have tried to sell this book for a week, because I have 2 copies now. And I only wanted, I think I wanted 120 US, and nobody's bought it. So I think the hype was there for about a week, and right now there's no hype, even though the first World Tree #1 came out like a week ago. So
we'll see if that one picks up. If the series becomes popular, maybe.
Yeah, it's still early. That's the thing with moderns. Sometimes just keeping them in a box is easier than and then getting them graded, and then, you know, but you can't sell into the hype if you don't have the 9/8.
That's correct.
To sell, so.
That's right. That's why you grade them. Just get it graded, and if it sits around, it's your first to market, for example, if it's time, when it's time.
Oh, first to market is crazy.
Yeah.
You can make a lot of money because people just want it, and they'll
Correct.
pay what it is if they want it, and if the desirability or like there are enough people that want it, then the price is just going up and up and up.
That's correct. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate you for sending in those comics and getting them pressed and doing this review with me, and appreciate you, man.
Yeah, love getting comics graded. Buying comics and finding them is a hell of a job lately. So I don't think I'll have any more sent to CGC anytime soon. Not because I don't like getting them graded. I'm just really having trouble finding moderns to grade that are worthwhile. Always looking. I did feel good about those ones, and my last unboxing, the pre-screen, was 25 out of 25, which was awesome.
Sick.
But a lot of those books, like I just bought, so I'm not sure if buying variants and buying like books as they're being printed is worthwhile long term, because I'm only getting the variant covers graded that are the desirable ones. Like I'm also speccing on other ones that there's no hype, and then I spent $22 or $18 US on a book that nobody wants. So even though the 9/8 I'm getting a win on, I'm losing money on the books that aren't hits. So I'm still not sure if going variants and like buying before the hype is worthwhile or not, because again, you're buying books where there never is any hype, and then it just is what it is. You got it. It might be good 10 years from now, or most likely it's just a dollar bin book. So, well, we'll see. I'm still looking into it. I do like the idea of, if a book has hype, to be buying it. But I think it's more, I want to see a book go over $50 from the last couple of years, and I think that's the threshold.
As a raw version?
Yeah, so if a raw book goes over $50 US,
it started at 5 and then it went up to over 50.
Yeah,
not like, because I've definitely seen some variant covers. I think I called you about one. It was a Batman gold.
Yeah,
and it was 50. It was a ratio, but they wanted $50 for it.
Yeah, so I'm not talking about ratio. I'm talking about cover A.
Yeah.
If a book can organically get above $50,
right, then
I think that is most likely to be a good long-term spec. That's kind of like you've hit the big time.
Right.
And then with variants, man, like I want to see a couple $100 for a variant cover to make it worthwhile.
And variants, just so I understand, they're different than ratio, right? You're not equating those two things.
I am. So like a cover B that's cover price when it comes out, to me, is unlikely to have value unless it's got the first appearance and first cover appearance of the character.
But that's different than a ratio book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Variants and ratios are two different things, correct?
Yeah, I'm using them. I'm interchanging them. But when I say a variant, I'm generally talking about whatever the ratio variant is.
Gotcha.
I still like modern ratio variants, because just having less of them is a thing. It's the same as having a numbered card.
100%.
Like I want a Chet Holmgren rookie card, but out of 50, not. Dude, Chet is
yes,
the
I
new
know.
Giannis.
He's the new Giannis. We'll see. Let him play 8 minutes in the NBA first, and then we'll talk about it.
It's just currently brittle. He's gonna bulk up and light it up.
Well, he's had a whole 2 years to do it, so
Have you seen him shooting threes?
Good luck to. I've seen.
As long as nobody else is in the
gym,
arena,
yeah,
then he's just on fire.
I remember there was a guy named Kristaps Porzingis.
That guy had the best season of his career this year.
Yeah, it only took him 15 years.
It's because they got big feet, right?
Anyways.
Okay, so this has been Grade for Great Expectations. Thanks for coming, Lucky.
Thanks
Have a good day, everyone.